Hi everyone, Dana here. Today we're going to talk about swatching in the round, and I'm going to show you how I swatch in the round without having to cast on enough stitches to actually work in the round. Swatching in the round is important because when you're working in the round versus working flat, you're only working right side rows. So you're never knitting on the wrong side, and this can actually change your gauge because you're not purling on the wrong side. So if you knit a swatch flat, but the project is in the round, you might actually not be getting the correct gauge for your project. So to start, you're going to need either a set of double pointed needles, you'll need 2 double pointed needles, or 1 circular needle in the size that you want to swatch, the size that the project calls for. For the sock virgin socks, I have a US 1 2.25 millimeter needle, and you'll also need the yarn that you want to swatch with. So the first thing that we do, and I've already got one started here, is I cast on typically about 30 stitches depending on the stitch pattern that we're swatching, and we're swatching in stockinette. So I've cast on 30 stitches, and I've just knit 4 rows in garter so that my swatch has an edge that won't curl. So now that I've knit the 4 rows in garter, instead of turning the work around and knitting as you would like this to start the next row, I'm actually going to slide all of the stitches to the other end of the needle. It's very similar to working an I-cord if you've ever made an I-cord. Then I'm going to take my working yarn from the back and carry it in a really big float behind my work. Then I'm going to knit a row of my swatch as normal. So now when I get to the end of the row, instead of turning my work, because we don't want to work any wrong side rows, we're mimicking working in the round, I'm again going to slide my stitches to the other end of my needle, carry the float along the back, and again knit the next row. And I'm going to do this for about 30 rows. So once again, instead of turning my work, stitches go to the other end of my needle. The working yarn gets carried along the back, and I knit as usual. And then at the end of about 30 rows, what I do is I work 4 more rows of garter so that I have a swatch that doesn't curl. And then what you're left with is this funky looking thing. And what I do now is I cut these floats. The downside to this swatching method is if you run out of yarn when you're working your project, you can't really go back and unravel your swatch to use it. And then there's my swatch, worked as though it were in the round. I wash it and block it as per the directions of the yarn, or how I'm going to wash and dry the project when it's done. And then at the end, here's an example of an existing swatch I have. I have a washed and dried swatch that I can measure rows and stitches for working in the round. So that is how I swatch in the round. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment below. You can email me at hello@danagervais-designs.com, or find me all over the internet as Knit-A-Lot 924. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.